are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it is episode 449 of the New York Knicks podcast, part of the almighty Baller Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay. With me is Mark, and here's a word from our buddy, Enes Kanter.
Hey, after a long trip, I'm having my cheat day. I have three triple patties with eggs and sauces. I got my French fries. I got one burger here, two burger here, two burger here, four burger here. I'm very excited about it. Let's do it. Bon appetit.
All right, if you missed it, Enes Kanter ate 7 burgers. 3 of them were triple burgers with eggs on top, and then he got sick and missed the next 2 games.
I mean, they claim he has flu-like symptoms. It could be just a coincidence, but nothing says I give a shit about my job than doing something to sabotage your job.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he might have gotten the flu, but why videotape yourself eating what is the equivalent of 13 burger patties?
Why do you need a cheat day? You're playing NBA basketball. You're getting $17 million. Your team is a goddamn joke, and you're taking cheat days. I need cheat days. I work so hard on defense. I need my cheat day.
I don't even mind cheat days. Just don't film it and put it on the gram.
I mind it. You're getting paid. You know what? If you're, you're Damian Dotson, you're getting you're still lucky as hell. But like you're Enes Kanter, you are getting $17 million. Your team barely thinks you're worth playing at this point. You're not embarrassed enough to work harder. You should be like, my cheat day consists of me only running wind sprints for 3 hours today and only practicing defense for 3 hours because I know I'm going to do it for 8 hours because I want to get better because I give a crap.
So it was not a good look.
It is not a good look to do that. Even if he had played the next game, do you think having a cheat day makes sense? You're making this kind of money. You can't be this serious about your job.
Like I said, these guys burn thousands and thousands of calories.
Yes,
I think his cheat day was ridiculous because that was like a 12,000 calorie meal. So I understand. I understand these guys have to eat a lot because they burn such a ridiculous amount of calories. They probably eat 5 times as much as us and burn it all. But that was way excessive. Here's the thing. I know, it's not like these guys spend the entire season doing nothing but basketball. Even LeBron James probably goes to a bar or goes to, I don't know what LeBron James does when he goes out, but they all have some drinks. They all do things outside of it. You have to live your life also. I totally understand that. But this is kind of disgusting. You have a disgusting cheat day. You have to put on social media because you want to build your brand, I guess, on social media at the expense of your team. Yeah, see, the thing is, I think everybody in the NBA probably has cheat days, and it's probably a gross amount of food. The fact that you're filming it, and then the fact that you got sick the next day it's going to rub people the wrong way.
Yeah, it's also if I cheat day, I get you're going to have a couple of drinks or whatever you want to do to unwind. This is not unwinding. This is you trying to do a stunt basically because I love social media more than I like being a good at basketball.
Well, it's also if you're, a LeBron James or a James Harden and you post a cheat day, you'd be like, okay, well, you got a triple double with 40 points yesterday, so fine.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Harden, you're averaging 40 points a game for the last month. Cool. You want to do that? That's fine. Kanter, you become a backup on the worst team in the NBA, and they want to dump your ass. Why don't you prove that you're worth playing in the NBA still?
Yeah, you lost your starting job to Luke Cornett.
If you're going to sign a guy, if you're Cornett, Kanter's going to be a free agent. He's going to come to you and go hey, you should sign me for a lot of money. well, I found this video mid-season of you. Well, your team's struggling, and you like just being a jackass on social media. That sounds. That's who I want.
And then you couldn't play the next couple games.
You couldn't play, and good. And the worst part is for Kanter is he did this cheat day, could not play, and the team did not miss a beat. They did not look worse off for not having him.
No, they did not. They actually only lost to the Sixers by 3.
Oh my God! So I went to this game. Spent a lot of money taking my son to the game. Went with some family. It was great actually. So the game starts off. If you see the game, like before we go to the game, so I go with my cousin and his son, and my cousin says to me, he's like, "Are we their kids? Our kids are 7 years old." He's like, "Should we be worried about taking our kids? We're gonna basically spend all this money and put all this effort to go to the game, and the Knicks are gonna play like garbage." And they're not even going to care. Our sons will be turned off from the basketball watching such a crap game. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go. It'll be fun. Go to the game. Like, my uncle came too. And, like, somewhere in the first quarter, the Knicks were down by 1,000 points. It was absurd. My uncle turns to me and goes, hey, do the Knicks ever practice? Which is just, like, the best comment. It looked like a goddamn joke. And the second, I think they were down by, we were excited they were only down by 16 at halftime.
Yeah, they were down by 24 in the first half.
24 in the first half. They cut it, because they cut it to 16, so it didn't look that terrible. And then they had an unbelievable third quarter where they went from being down to 16 to be down by 1 at the end of the third quarter, and it was getting really exciting. But we were like, you know what? They put some of the backups.
How were the kids? How were the kids during this? When the Knicks made this huge comeback,
they got into it. We were all cheering. They got into it. They had a good experience overall. They had a great time, and I mean the Knicks never came back. That it would have been a really awful day.
They probably think the Knicks aren't that bad of a team now.
I mean well, especially because the Knicks, we were like Philly's really really good, and like so like this is a great game for the Knicks. And they played really competitive. We just went on and on. We kind of talked up the Knicks play, but like. Then the Knicks went down again a lot in the fourth quarter, and you were like, okay, this is done. And they came roaring back again. The Knicks kept fighting and fighting, and if Moutier had hit that last shot, it would have gone to overtime. This was a crazy game.
Yeah, so you're saying Kanter was not needed.
Kanter was not needed. Not only was Kanter not needed, when the Knicks took Luke Kornet off the floor, it hurt them. Like in the fourth quarter, they start the fourth quarter, they gave Luke Kornet some time to sit, and apparently Luke Kornet is much more vital to the team than Enes Kanter.
Have you looked at the box score?
I looked at some point, but I didn't look that closely. Why?
Starting center Noah Vonleh.
I knew that. Yeah.
minus 32.
He did not look good against. He struggled a lot, and Embiid just like took him to school.
Luke Kornet plus 25.
That I saw. Yeah, that is insane. And Luke Kornet did a decent. I mean, it's not like he did a great job against Embiid, but there was a couple plays where like there was a play at the end of the third quarter when Embiid. First of all, you saw the foul that Embiid did to Kornet, where he just like basically gave him a karate chop.
Yeah.
So they called the foul. Embiid's furious that they've ever called a foul on him for that or a flagrant. So the next play, Embiid just tries to go and just like dunk basically on Kornet, and Kornet has his arms up and stops him, and it was such a great play.
I mean, Embiid had 26 points, but he was only 9 for 24.
He wasn't, and that's also against the Knicks, who he goes to school against. I mean, or he takes them to school. Like he should not do 9 for 26. That's a pretty good game against him.
Here's what I was wondering: Simmons went 20, 22, and 9, 10 for 13 shooting. To me, it didn't look like he was actually putting in much effort. Did it look that way when you were watching live?
I mean, Simmons, he also got there was a rebound he got that like was crushing in the fourth quarter where like the play just kind of ricocheted to him. I don't get the thing about Simmons. He only shoots between 0 to 3 feet from the basket.
Mm-hmm.
You know that's what he's going to do. Why can't you not shut him? Why can't we stop him a little bit? Like a little. This is the only thing he's going to shoot is right around the rim. Can we come close to stopping him?
I don't know. I thought it was weird. It looked like he was walking the ball up the court. He was letting Hezonja and Moutier drive right past him, not even putting an arm up. And then he ends up with almost this monster triple-double.
He had a pretty good game. Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. He looked pretty good. I don't know.
Is he that good where he could put in like 75% effort and do that, or is it just that's just the way he looks when he's playing?
I mean, I know we've talked about it. I would trade KP straight up for him in a heartbeat. He's also got this size for the fact that he is your point guard. He's 6'9" or 6'10". What is he? He's got such size. He is. If he ever learns to shoot outside of 3 feet from the basket, he'll be unstoppable.
He's 6'10", which is ridiculous for a point guard.
It's ridiculous for a point guard. That's also the thing is that like he's
that might
so
be
good
the tallest
on the boards
point guard
also.
ever.
What do you say?
That might be the tallest point guard ever.
Wasn't Magic like 6'9"? I mean, obviously that's shorter, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
Actually, I can tell you a point guard that's taller. There's a 7-foot point guard playing in Denver.
Jokic. Yeah.
I mean, he's unbelievable. Like they run the whole offense through their center.
Yeah.
Also, just as far as draft picks, I know we're tanking. Jokic was the 41st pick in the draft. It just blows my goddamn mind he was 41st pick in the draft. He's in the MVP conversation. He was the 41st pick in the draft.
Denver's entire team is guys who were not drafted high but are playing really, really, really well.
Murray's drafted pretty high.
Pretty high, but not
like a top 5 pick. Hey, here's a question for you. 3 guys in the same exact draft. I guess Jokic was the year before, but whatever. No, KP was 15 or 14? KP was 15, right?
Yes.
Well, whatever. KP, Jokic, Towns. Put them in order of who you'd want right now. And just pretend KP's going to be healthy.
Right. See, the thing is, Towns has been going nuts the last couple weeks.
Yeah, he has been.
And it looks like he's starting to figure out defense. Jokic is
not very good on defense.
He's not very good on defense, but the way he moves the ball around is kind of game changing.
It's game changing.
What I'm saying is Porzingis would be third, and I'm trying to decide between Jokic and Towns.
Oh, I figured that. I figured Porzingis would be third there. Yeah, which is it's just crazy. Also, the 41st pick is going to be at least 1 or 2. And if you say Towns, you're wrong. It's Jokic right now.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not even like Jokic. He's 23 also, so he'll probably get better. Or maybe I don't know if he'll get better. Whatever. He's 23. He's just as young as they are.
It is 40. It's halfway through the season. 41 games into the season.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are tied with the best record in the West, and Jokic is one of the main reasons for that. It's insane.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously they have a lot of good players, a lot of depth, and whatever you want to say, but he's their best player. So they have the best record, and he's their best player. Kind of have to pick him.
Yeah, that's insane.
I mean, he's averaging 10 rebounds, 7 assists, or 7.5 assists, but like the offense really runs through him. It's unbelievable.
I mean, my argument, I guess, against Towns would be that he's got a lot of talent surrounding him, and they're the 11th seed right now.
Yeah, the Knicks, add the Knicks and the Minnesota's wins. Both teams aren't that good. Like, they're not carrying their teams. Jokic, he has probably more talent, but
yeah, it's not like Minnesota doesn't have anything.
Yeah,
I mean Teague is injured, but you got Teague, and I guess Wiggins is part of the problem. But Covington and Saric, and they got some guys on that team.
I mean, there's no question Towns is not where you'd like him to be. He's playing really well right now, but he's not quite as good as you'd like him to be right now.
Yeah.
And long term, probably he might have a higher ceiling. He probably has a higher ceiling. And it probably is the defense is the reason. If you could get better in defense, then he could really have a higher ceiling.
Well, I heard he's been picking it up a lot lately.
But anyway, I just thought it was interesting to even have that conversation, the fact that how good Jokic is, really.
In his last 4 games, Towns has 12 blocks and 9 steals. So it looks like he's putting more effort in.
That's pretty darn good. Okay, whatever order you want to put him in, that's pretty amazing. Why can't the Knicks get a 41st pick that's this good? And we may have, Mitchell Robinson could be really good. We will find out if he ever gets back on the goddamn court.
The Knicks get, with the 41st pick, Andy Rottens.
That same year?
No, but that's just who the Knicks draft with that pick.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks always take, whatever. The Andy Rottens, forget it. Anyway, today's game was a wonderful experience. Knicks came back. They could have won this game. Cornette missed some free throws. Ntilikina missed some shots near the rim. Everyone missed some shots they should have made. Ntilikina looked aggressive, though. Even though he wasn't quite making his shots, he looked aggressive. Moutier looked decent at times. I wish you could just combine Ntilikina's defense with Moutier's offense. I mean, whatever you want to say about Moutier's offense, like Moutier's offense is far ahead of Ntilikina right now.
I just hate that we're like, Ntilikina got a block. I'm happy. He did something on the court. Like, is this the way we should be feeling about a top 10 pick? Like, he did something today.
Ntilikina, he tried an offense. Way to go. You're the man.
Also, you remember when Trier was on this team?
Yeah. So, guys, I have a 2-way contract. As soon as I get guaranteed, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna do the. I'm basically gonna cheat every day, like Kanter does. What the? Why is he so bad right now?
I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's he completely disappeared as soon as he got locked in.
Do you think it's that he also got injured? I have to think the injury, and coming back, he's just out of rhythm, and he will get back into rhythm. He's just like a very much a cold spell right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He never really fully recovered from the injury.
Yeah, and the injury prevents him from passing to anyone else ever. I mean, there was a replay. There's a play actually. Well, two things. There was a Knicks film school put a thing up of Kanter, where I'm sorry, with not Kanter, with Trier, where it's showing the defense can just cheat on him because they know he's never going to pass the ball out, and just like circles two teammates that are wide open that Trier's just not passing to. And then a different play, he shows and Knicks film school is great. You guys should follow him. It's really interesting content. He had another thing about it was Cornette was out there, and the defender wanted to cheat towards maybe it was Ntilikina, but instead had to basically stay close to Cornette because he's a threat from three. So basically, Ntilikina had more space. Ntilikina ended up missing the shot, but just the idea basically that he's a real threat out there, so you have to really like guard him, not like the pretend threat of like Vonleh, where like, hey, he shoots 1-3 every game and shoots pretty well with that, so he's a pretend threat. Like Cornette's a real threat, so it keeps defense honest.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Cornette is a really, really good shooter.
I think Cornette plus Mitchell Robinson should mean Kanter only plays when one of the guys is in foul trouble.
That may happen.
They're trying to trade him, but I mean, obviously they're trying to trade him. Did we talk about it? Happened since last week. There was rumors that the Knicks were first going to try to trade him to Sacramento.
Yeah.
What's the benefit for Sacramento? What's the upside there?
The upside is Kanter is better than Costa Kufos.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on the playoff bubble. So if they think maybe right now they're the 10th seed, but they're only one game out of the playoffs. So maybe they think he's slightly better, and that pushes them into the playoff spot.
So, and they were talking about swapping also Zach Randolph. And the theory, I guess, is Randolph probably doesn't need to play anymore, or you can be like a veteran that's a little bit off the bench. I think he's more comfortable with that.
Yeah, Randolph isn't playing at all. So you if you do a Randolph Kanter swap, you're trading a guy who doesn't play for a guy who can get you a double-double and, again, maybe get you into that playoffs.
So for the Knicks standpoint, though, why not just cut Kanter? Why do this unless you're going to get like a second-round pick from like something of any value?
Well, that's the rumor, that the Knicks want a little bit of a sweetener. They want any tiny little token. So if the Knicks can get a second-round pick, which I don't think is much considering Kanter is probably better than Randolph at this point.
Yeah, I think that seems kind of reasonable to expect like a second-round pick because the Knicks can just cut him, and that's not like a huge deal. And then if they cut him, it's a better favor for him because then he can go sign with whoever he wants to.
Either they cut Randolph, or you got that veteran presence and injury insurance, and who knows? Maybe the Knicks get lucky with a second-round pick.
The Knicks have also discussed a possible trade centered around Enes Kanter and Jabari Parker. Can I ask you, why are the Knicks taking Jabari Parker from the Bulls unless the Bulls are giving them like a first-round pick? Because he's signed through next year.
Is it guaranteed?
I'm not positive. I thought Parker was signed through next year. So, like, why take his contract for next year unless you're getting like a major sweetener? Like, if we're giving up our ability to sign free agents, which I mean they're probably not signing here anyway. we should get something for them.
Yeah, you would definitely need a first round pick. If the Knicks could get the Bulls' first round pick, then you have like 2 top 5 picks. I would definitely be okay with that. So
the
yes,
argument
he is signed through next year for $20 million.
So there goes our ability to sign a max free agent, even though we're not probably going to sign a max free agent. The argument people have made though against making a trade where you give up your cap space to get a first round pick is that once you sign max KP, you're gonna have a lot less room to sign a free agent. So this summer you have a
no. Team option next year for $20 million.
Oh, okay, then fine, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely do it.
Well, it says here the trade talks hit a snag as the Bulls and Knicks look for a third team to take Kanter. So that's not really
the Bulls don't want Parker. The Knicks and the Bulls don't want Kanter. So
they're like Knicks are like, you don't understand this. If we take Parker, you have to take Kanter. No, we don't. Well, that's how trades work.
Yeah. So yeah, good luck. I mean, Kanter's hard because he's making what 17 million this year.
Knicks discuss Kanter with lots of teams that don't want him. So Golden State, we take Klay Thompson and you take Kanter, both expiring.
I do have to say, I traded Kanter for Wendell Carter Jr. and Wendell Carter Jr. hasn't been great, and I was getting a little worried. But Kanter's had a tummy ache and hasn't even played, so far I've won that trade.
I think if the Knicks did that trade in real life, I don't think I could stop smiling for a week.
Oh, I'd be so happy if the Knicks did that trade.
Can you imagine that trade in real life? The NBA would have to veto that trade. They'd be like, "This is not. You can't do this. This is just." It would be like the Chris Paul thing again with the Lakers. They'd be like, "You just can't do that. That's just too much of a ripoff." But yeah, today's game, it was the perfect game. The Knicks made a huge comeback and they lost, so it helped the tanking.
If you're rooting for tanking, which at 10-33 that you should be at this point, this was a fun game to watch. And they ended up losing.
I mean, it would have been. I guess if you want the Knicks to win, they should try to start the game by not being down by 25 points. How does that happen? Like what the game? It was out of control right away. The Knicks just seemed like they didn't know the game had started yet.
Yeah, it's. They didn't have Lou Cornett. He's a monster. They never.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like. Would you criticize Fizdale for starting Vonleh over Cornette?
No, everyone's been raving about Vonleh for a while. It's.
I mean,
what is people are criticizing the hell out of Fizdale. This roster sucks. Like, what is a guy to do? He's playing the young guys a ton of minutes.
Yeah, Courtney Lee. Our coaches have the balls to tell Courtney Lee you don't need to play anymore, and Lance Thomas the vets have barely need to play anymore, and we're like criticizing him.
Yeah. He's playing all the young guys a ton of Knox played 44 minutes today.
Holy shit, 44. Are you trying to kill our only good player?
He played Dodson 36 minutes. Cornette played 34. He's playing the young guys. I have no complaints with what Fizdale's doing.
Yeah, I mean,
this is exactly what we wanted Fizdale to do.
This is exactly. Frankie's got 28 minutes instead of 44. Whatever. Like Frankie, I know we got some DNPs. He's got a chance to play. Whatever. If our coach thinks he needs a DNP every once in a while to like.
He tweaked his ankle too. That's why he missed a few games.
Yeah, that's true. I meant before that, but like I think it's fair to say like if our coach thinks he needs a DNP for a couple games in a row to like give him a kick in the pants, maybe that's what he needs. Like I don't know what the hell he needs.
Right. Yeah, he played 28 minutes today. That's a really good amount of minutes.
Did Fizdale play Knox 44 minutes tonight in like honor of Thibodeau getting fired?
I mean, in his defense, Knox had a career high, so
31 points on 12 of 23 shooting. He played great.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say is he got 0 assists, which wasn't so good. But and I don't remember actually seeing him pass the ball today. But he looked great shooting. I think Knox is going to be one of the better players out of this draft.
I do too. It would be nice if the Knicks could draft somebody at some point that passes the ball, but scoring is a good start.
We need scoring. I mean, you put him next to KP, the team looks a lot better. for next year.
In January, Knox has 5 assists in 6 games.
Someone pointed out that Tatum has yet to have a 30-point game.
Mm-hmm. Tatum has looked kind of poops this year.
Yeah, it's down to him. Him and Donovan Mitchell are not doing as good as they were last year.
And Dennis Smith is. I mean, Dallas is getting out the pitchforks for him.
Yeah, he's not so great. Doncic is really good though. Could have lost a couple more games. Got Doncic.
Doncic is a game changer.
But I'm very happy with Knox. I apologize again for getting upset when we Knicks drafted him.
I think I should be the draft scout for the Knicks.
You think so?
I think so. I called.
You called Knox?
I did not call Knox, but
You called Porzingis, and you can't get over it now. You're you just go on and on about that.
5 teams passed on Doncic.
Yeah, but I mean, even at the time, people said this was kind of dumb to pass on him.
And I said Buddy Hield would be the steal of the draft.
Yeah, the Knicks didn't get a chance to draft him, but yes, I agree. But Buddy Hield's very good. Well, who had it? Like, if you had a redraft, does Doncic go first?
Yeah, absolutely.
The only argument ahead of him would be maybe Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, I'd still take Doncic.
Okay, I mean, fair enough.
He plays a more important position.
I mean, whatever. The offense runs through him, which is it's kind of important.
Let's not forget, Doncic's still a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, isn't Jaren Jackson a teenager too?
Yeah, but Doncic's putting up borderline all-star numbers.
He's really good. I'm not going to argue. I mean, what am I going to argue this?
I mean,
yeah, it's very arguable that Doncic would be the number 1 pick in the draft. Where do you? If you had to redo, who'd redo it? So who goes second? Jackson?
Yeah, I would say probably Triple J, yeah.
Third?
I have to pull up the actual draft. Doncic is averaging 27 and 5.
Is he really?
Yes.
I didn't realize he was scoring so many points.
Yeah, he's absolutely insane.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I guess the question that I was kind of trying to figure out where Knox. I saw someone did a redraft and they had Knox falling at 5, which is makes me happy.
Yeah. So Doncic and Jackson were 4 and 5. Obviously, Doncic got traded down, but
the Hawks are just the smartest franchise ever.
It's so hard after 2. Like, I don't know if you're looking at the draft.
I don't have it up. Tell me.
I mean, maybe you put Ayton at 3. Trae Young.
I don't put Trae Young at 3.
No, I don't put Trae Young either.
I know I like Hill. Trae Young probably will have it. Trae Young's not bad. It's just like he's not Doncic.
Colin Sexton, Wendell Carter, Knox.
I'm fine with Pat. I think Knox would probably be 4th or 5th.
Gilgeous Alexander.
Okay, Doncic is not averaging 27 points a game. He's averaging 20 points a game.
Yeah, I said 20. I said 20. No, I said 27 and 5.
Oh, I thought you said 27 and 5.
No.
Whatever. So 20 points a game, 5 assists, and almost 7 rebounds a game. Yeah. It's pretty darn good.
I'd bump Kevin Huerter up a lot.
Where was he taken?
19th.
Okay.
I'd maybe 10th.
It'll be interesting to see where this draft is a couple of years from now. Because like the 2015 draft, which I thought was such a great draft, you look back on it, it wasn't such a great draft.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of busts there, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they're all in the Knicks right now.
So 2015, obviously Towns is still arguably number 1, but Russell you'd bump down. Okafor is almost out of the league.
I would think KP is number 2 in that draft.
Yeah, KP's number 2, but then Hezonia's 5, and no.
No, obviously Hazonia. Like these are all like Hazonia should be an undrafted free agent.
And you have Cauley Stein and then Moutier.
I mean, Cauley Stein is not bad. I don't know who else. Who else was later in that draft? I remember
Well, Justice Winslow is playing really good this year. Miles Turner.
Miles Turner is pretty good.
Devin Booker at 13. Then there's a lot of not good. Hollis Jefferson at 23. That's pretty good for that pick, I guess.
I mean, it's value out of that pick, yes.
Nance Jr. at 27 is good value.
Yeah, I mean, anything after anyone that you even know their name after that number is probably a pretty good value.
Second round, Montrezl Harrell is a really good pick.
Yeah, it's a solid pick.
And other than that, it's pretty bad draft.
Yeah. Do you think if you had Trier at some point we said I think we made the hot take that he would be might have the best year of all the rookies on the Knicks.
Yeah, we were pretty wrong about that.
It's a long season. By the way, the Knicks played Golden State this week. Should we talk about that?
Sure. Let's go through the games real quick and then do the questions and then.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the 76er game was it was a great game. It was a fun game.
So
I have to say, like,
Portland was this week too.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't even talk about those two games.
You don't want to talk about losing by a lot to Portland?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we shouldn't even bother talking about those games. Forget it. Like, they played Portland, they played Golden State. That's enough facts you need to know.
I mean, Hezonia's played all right lately.
Yeah.
He played good against Golden State. He had 19.
Hezonja is back. We also got a lot of those points in garbage time. But Hezonja... So looking at this roster...
Maybe we should call him the garbage man.
He played okay during non-garbage minutes. Like, I'm fine with him getting minutes now because he's looked a little better lately. But I see him play. I'm like, he can just not be here next year. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want back right now? Okay, Vonleh, what is it to eat? Do you want him back? What does it take to get him?
I wouldn't mind him back. I don't think it takes that much. I think you can get him back for 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6, maybe a 2-year deal. I don't know if I'd go beyond that.
Yeah, let him prove himself some more.
Yeah. Lance Thomas is unfortunately here next year. Who started today, by the way.
Great.
Knox obviously is here. Moutier's next question. Do you want him back? How much are you going to pay? And if you don't want him back, if you're not willing, if this is assuming the Knicks don't sign anyone big. Obviously, if you sign Kevin Durant, we can find someone else. Okay, but
I still don't think Moutier is that good.
No, he's not. No question.
He's putting up okay numbers. If you look at the box score, you're like, against the Pacers, he had 21 and 3. It's not great,
I like his aggression on offense. He is much more aggressive. The offense looks a lot better. Like, he doesn't, like, in theory, if this was his rookie year, you'd be a lot happier. The fact that it's 4th year he looks like this is kind of what's disappointing.
He's fine as like your backup or third string point guard. And if he wants to take like $4 million a year, I'm fine with that. But I don't want to pay him $10-12 million a year, have him be a starter, and no.
Who's bidding on him to be a starter? Who's bidding $10 to $12 million? Like, what? Like, people are like, I'm not going to pay $10 or $12 million for him because he's not getting that offer anywhere else. $12 million maybe in a 4-year deal.
I mean, the Knicks gave $17 million to Noah, so
I mean, the Knicks are retarded. But look at the NBA.
Everything is on the table.
Is there any other team in the NBA that'd be like, I'm going to sign Moutier as my starter?
Phoenix, they don't have a point guard.
I think they're not going to sign Moutier as like the. No one's going to give Moutier a lot of money to start. He's a backup point guard anywhere else, so you pay him backup money.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we could get him for like 4, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, Dotson.
But then if you have him, like, what do you do with Frank? How many like mediocre point guards do you need on the team?
I mean, unless you have another point guard coming here, you split their minutes and just hope one of them actually figures out how to play basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? Like, I understand if there's a point guard in the draft that's really good, let's go for it. If Kemba or anyone that's really good point guard signs here, that's great. Otherwise, what's your other option?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Dotson. When's his rookie deal expire? They have him for another. He's 2 years. He probably has another year on his contract, so they don't have to re-sign him yet. So
yeah, he has 1 more year at the minimum. So
you just see how he plays next year before you decide whether you're going to re-sign him.
Yeah,
I like what he does a lot of the time, but he looks like he's a backup player.
Yeah, absolutely. He plays good sometimes, and then in other games, not so much. Like against the Warriors, he was 0 for 7 and did almost nothing else. 1 rebound, 1 assist.
I mean, he actually got 5 assists today, which is crazy. he's you know what, you get a second round pick that ends up being a solid rotation piece. You're happy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But you don't have to decide on him either. Cornet, you have to decide on. Cornet, are we going to max him? What do you think of Cornet? How much? Like, he's going to be a free agent. Is there value? Or is he of the Knicks players that are going to be a free agent, not named Porzingis? Is Cornet the most highly valued of those guys by other teams?
I don't think so.
Who's higher value of the guys that will be free agents, not named Porzingis?
I think Vonleh.
Why? I mean, maybe.
I don't think people are taking Cornet seriously.
I don't know. He is a stretch. I mean, he's a guy that's a solid. Have him off the bench, he can really hit threes, which is a sought-after skill in the NBA.
I think if he continues this play, people will take him seriously. I mean, he had 23, 5, and 5 today, which is great.
By the way, the 5 assists were crazy, but also he was driving to the basket.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. I'm like,
a lot of drives,
oh, crap, he can drive to the basket.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Like I said, I think people think that this is cute, and this is just one of those, like, there's a lot of times where a fringe player gets really hot for a couple weeks, and then you never hear from them ever again.
I mean, the Knicks have 39 games to go. So if he keeps this up, though, I feel like he'll be the most sought. I think if I was going to say most sought after power rankings of Knicks free agents, not named Porzingis, I'd put Cornet number 1 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he keeps this up, it will. But I don't think anybody's taking him seriously right now.
But I also just saw like Kyle O'Quinn, who's Vonleh's a better version of Kyle O'Quinn, but not by that much. And the NBA was like shrugged as Kyle O'Quinn being a free agent.
Yeah. Well, Kyle O'Quinn didn't really do much when he was on the Knicks.
No, I'm just saying, is Vonleh that much better than Kyle O'Quinn? I think he's better.
He's better. Not much, but he's better.
Whereas Cornet, at least, like, the skill set is pretty big. The 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. So how much? What do you pay to bring him back as of right now?
I would still probably give him the minimum.
You don't give him like the $4 or $5 million you're giving Vonleh and
Not yet. If this isn't a fluke and he does it for the rest of the season, then yes. But I feel like this is like a fluky situation right now.
I mean, you wouldn't want him back as like a solid like backup center / I feel like it's a solid guy to have off the bench whenever right now I want him back.
That's fine. I'm not saying it's terrible. I feel like this is a fluky situation.
Okay, Hazonia. How many millions did the Knicks pay him to go away? Hazonia, what's your thought on Hazonia?
I don't think I need to see him back.
Okay. Ntilikina is not a free agent yet. Trier's not a free agent anymore. Burke.
No, I don't need to see him back either.
I don't need to see him play anymore, right?
Yeah, I'm done.
Courtney Lee is back, but we should trade him, right?
Yeah.
And Timmy, plantar fasciitis. Timmy Hardaway.
Yeah, he needs to go.
Not getting rid of him anytime soon. But I can understand the Knicks didn't really look that much worse not having him today.
No, they didn't. I did not miss him at all.
Kanter and Hardaway, they didn't seem to skip a beat.
No. It's almost like if you don't play players who are terrible at defense, you don't miss anything.
I mean, the fact that Knox could score kind of like, okay, we don't need it anymore, Timmy.
Yeah.
You think Timmy has some value? You think you could trade him?
I do. I think he doesn't have much value just because his contract is pretty hefty, but I think he has some. Like a team that strikes out on who they want in free agency, maybe they want to take a waiver on him.
I feel like a team like Houston should take him. Like a team that's already cap stretched anyway. They're just screwed in the cap. They're going all in no matter what. Hardaway could add a lot to Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to questions.
Okay. We have email. Hugguy writes, can we stop having release players' contracts count against the salary cap? Who is the rule actually protecting? Players make their money regardless, and it messes up small market teams all the time. As a starting point, I propose something called the Jim Dolan rule, which would stipulate that any team can amnesty one player every other year. What do you think?
I would amnesty every year. I think it's ridiculous. At least every other year at the minimum. It would just make the league a lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What's the benefit of it? I guess the benefit is for the players or the for the owners, right? The fact that they can't amnesty.
No, I think it's for the players because
why?
It's harder to if you're getting cut, like it's bad marketing. Hard to get on another team.
No, it's better. If Knicks could just cut Enes Kanter right now and just say use their amnesty, I guess you wouldn't. Let's say they amnesty Timmy Hardaway, he'd get a job in a heartbeat. And on a better team, a better team would immediately go hey, we can get Timmy Hardaway for a minimum deal. That sounds great. Let's get him right now.
The thing is, these guys are still getting paid with the amnesty, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you get your full. If you amnesty, you get your full contract. It's just like a buyout situation. You get your full contract, but it just doesn't count the cap, so the team has cap space. So there was no problem with it when they did it last time.
I have no problem with it. I think it's fine.
I think it would improve the NBA greatly.
Yeah.
I think that it's a huge issue when teams, if you make a bad contract, you're screwed for that whole bad contract. It's harder to compete. It makes the NBA less competitive. I mean, obviously, it just means be smart about the cap, and you won't have to worry about this. But we know we're never going to be smart about this, and most 20 teams in the NBA are never going to be smart about this.
I also think there's a lot of shady stuff going on with agents. You'll see a guy sign a contract that makes no sense, and then the following year they make a trade to get a guy on a good deal, and you realize both guys were under the same agent. So I think there's a lot of if you want this guy, you got to do this too.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is that a separate issue though?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
You hear the Cleveland might lose their number one pick?
I heard. I don't think they will, but it would be great if they did because they seem to always magically end up with a number one.
You want to explain?
So they Pat
McGraw.
They did some shady stuff where Golden State did not. They waived Pat McGraw.
No, Pat McGraw was a restricted free agent. Golden State offered him the qualifying offer. He said no, and he was just sitting out and waiting for a team to make him an offer. Cleveland made him an offer. Golden State said, "We're not going to match that offer. Go to Cleveland." The deal, you had 3 days for that deal to become official. Or I guess you had 3 days where Cleveland could get their money back, I guess. So within those 3 days, Cleveland cut him, and then he became an unrestricted free agent, which sounds like some shady stuff was happening. There's no way in 3 days, in 3 games he played, even if he looked like complete crap, you don't cut a guy you just signed for a 2-year deal within 3 games.
Right. There's rumors that Golden State told them to for reasons unknown.
Or I thought they were trying to screw Golden State for some reason.
One of the
I don't
know.
I assume there was a secret deal, when he signed with Cleveland, they made the deal knowing he knew Cleveland would cut him right away.
I don't think it's the screw Golden State because can't they now that he's a free agent again? Can't they just get him back?
If he wanted to stay there, he would have just signed the qualifying offer.
True. I'm just saying, it's not really screwing Golden State if they can get him right back.
Well, they only screws Golden State in the sense of Golden State had the right to match whatever contract, and now you're going around the unrestricted, the restricted free agent thing. You're going around it now. It's a workaround.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be KP's going to be a restricted free agent. Let's just say KP's okay, I'm going to be a restricted free agent, and then he signs a deal with someone else, and the Knicks don't want to max. It's a max deal. The Knicks don't want to match that, and then he immediately gets cut by that team, and then he goes to sign a $10 million deal with some other team. And Knicks were we would have done the $10 million deal. This is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
But
something sketchy happened, but I don't think they can prove it, so I don't think they're going to lose their pick.
So this is what I don't remember. I read in the article that Minnesota did this, and they lost the first-round pick.
They lost 4 first-round picks.
Did that really happen?
Yeah, it was Joe Smith. He signed 2 straight $1 million contracts when he could have gotten a max deal at the time. And then he signed a max deal in the 3rd year when they had more cap space or something like that. And there was obvious tampering and they lost 4 first-round picks.
What years did they lose the draft picks?
I'll look it up while we move on. But
yeah, we don't have to. I guess we don't figure it out. I was I forgot that I just forgot that happened. I knew there was a Joe Smith issue, but I didn't realize they had lost 4 first-round picks. It just seems like an insane penalty, especially where we are with draft picks right now, where draft picks are so valuable.
Well, also especially since Joe Smith didn't really have like a crazy amazing career anyway.
No, he was one of those guys that like he played for a really long time, but like the people are calling him Baby Jordan, and he did not work out obviously that well.
It was 3 one-year deals that he signed for very little. Oh, that would have given him the bird rights. So Minnesota got his bird rights after he signed 3 one-year deals, so they could go over the cap to re-sign him.
I mean, it's pretty devastating for that franchise, though, losing that many draft picks.
Yeah. That's devastating to anybody, yeah.
That's pretty damn drafting.
So it's originally they lost their first round draft picks for 5 straight years, but one of them was restored.
I feel like that's an insane. Anyway, Cleveland's not going to have that happen to him. The way where the NBA is right now, they're never going to take Cleveland's. First of all, Cleveland gets number 1 picks in 3 out of 4 years. Cleveland should lose their picks for that.
Yeah.
If they could ever prove that the NBA just gave Cleveland 3 number 1 draft picks, because that's really what happened.
Mm-hmm.
If they can ever prove that, Cleveland shouldn't get the draft again for an entire decade.
Yeah.
By the way, the Chicago Bulls are they playing really well right now?
No.
So they just guaranteed their coach for Jim Boylan through next year. They make bad decisions.
The players revolted after like 2 weeks with him. What do they do?
Yeah, now they've guaranteed him through next year. What the hell are they doing?
That sounds like a really bad idea.
I'm just saying, not every team. I think there are other teams out there that are run as poorly as the Knicks.
Yeah.
By the way, Kyrie Irving apparently is upset with Cleveland. I mean, not Cleveland, with Boston.
I saw he yelled at Gordon Hayward for messing up a last out of a timeout play, but is there something else?
He said the young guys don't know what it takes to be a championship level team, what it takes every day, and if they think it's hard now, what do they think it will be like when we're trying to get to the finals? That sounds like someone that wants to come play for the Knicks.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So they only lost the 2001 and the 2002 draft picks.
Wait, they only say that again?
Minnesota only ended. They originally lost 5, but they got they got 1 back, and they traded. They did some trades to get draft picks back. So they only lost the 2001 and 2002 draft pick.
Okay.
So they could have gotten Gilbert Arenas with the 2001 and Carlos Boozer or Matt Barnes with 2002.
Okay. Whatever. I mean, that obviously would have helped keep. That would help with Garnett there. Was Garnett there by then? Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, or Josh Howard, Kendrick Perkins, Kyle Korver. They missed out on a lot of players. Okay. Mr. C writes, do you guys want Moutier back next season? Have you noticed how terrible he is at defending pick and rolls? He just gives up as soon as the pick comes and doesn't track the pick or roll, leaving a free bucket every time. Drives me nuts and is just plain lazy. How hard do you think it would be to run an organization for 20 years and not be able to roster 1 average or better point guard?
Just by accident, you think you'd get a point guard.
Seriously.
I mean, also, why can't anyone in the Knicks guard the pick and roll? I know in theory Ntilikina can, but like, how can they be this bad in the pick and roll every season?
It's crazy. We said it before. We don't want Moutier back.
No, I said I was fine taking Moutier back.
Well, okay.
It was the royal we.
We don't want Moutier back as a starter.
Okay,
we want him back as like a $4 million bench player.
He'd be fine as a backup. I think there might be a decent chance that he's back as a starter.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I don't know what else to do. What are you going to do? What are the other options? If you don't sign, if Kemba, Kyrie,
that's end of list.
That's end of point guard list. If they don't sign here, what are your other options? I guess maybe you find a veteran from somewhere else. What's the point of getting a veteran? Right. Like, at least like you could then go like, I guess we'll be bad next year too, and maybe we'll get the following draft point guard.
Mr. C also writes, hey guys, do you think KP will be the tank destroyer? How many wins behind the bottom 3 teams do you think we need to be going into the last 10 games of the season to ensure that if KP returns, we won't screw up the tank again. Cheers and love the show.
It looks like where the Knicks are with the tankathon right now, the Knicks are locked in for a top 5 pick. Or sorry, locked in to be a top 5 seed in the tank.
Yeah, they are tied. No, they are tied for second right now. Second worst record in the league.
But it also the number 6 team, they have a decent lead over the 6, I believe. They have they right now have a
decent lead over the 4. The 5, I mean. Phoenix.
They have 3 less wins than Atlanta.
Phoenix, Cleveland, Chicago, and New York are the bottom 4, and they will stay the bottom 4.
Cleveland's got to win some games here. This is crap. But right now, Washington has 18 wins. The Knicks may not get 18 wins all season.
Yeah. And Washington is the sixth?
They're the 6th seed. So you have to think like, at worst, the Knicks will have if they fell the 5th, they'd have a 10.5% chance at getting a top 10 pick, number 1 pick, and a 42% chance at number. You know what's crazy? If you're the worst team, you have a 48% chance of not getting a top 4 pick.
Interesting.
But you really want to be number 1. You want to have the worst record so you can fall the least, basically.
Yes.
All right. By the way, there's a thing.
By the way, I don't think if you have Porzingis comes back with 10 games left, he's going to be so rusty that I don't think it'll make a difference. But there's rumors that the Knicks might just sit him the entire season.
Yeah. So apparently, Porzingis has been dunking and shooting 3-pointers, and they said Fitzdale had problems watching him work out because he was like upset, basically, that he can't have him play for him.
I mean. Yeah, like I said, I don't think that he's going to be a difference maker right when he comes back. He hasn't played in over a year. He's going to be rusty. He's not going to have his wind. His shot's probably going to be off. The Knicks might win 1 extra game, and I don't think it'll make a difference.
Yeah, the Knicks will be in a good place for the tank. Why did the Knicks have to be so bad in the year they changed the lottery odds?
Because that's just total Knicks.
Oh my god! If we don't have a top 4 pick, we need a top 3 pick to make the season worthwhile.
Yeah, preferably top 2 because I feel like it gets real sketchy after top 2.
Yeah, it gets. I mean, I don't know. It's so Zion, Barrett, and then it gets kind of sketchy from there.
There's a picture of Zion. They're testing his vertical. His head is above the rim, and his fingertips are almost above the backboard.
Is that like CGI?
No. It's absolutely insane.
So I know there's all these highlights of Zion dunking, and a lot of guys can dunk. And he's obviously got greater ups than most players. But what else is he? How good of a player is he beyond that?
That's the thing. We don't know. He's not.
I mean, it's also I'm just not watching the games. You're not watching the games either, right?
No.
I don't watch a lot of college. What's the take on him as far as like scouting report? Also, the chances of us even getting a chance to take him are pretty low.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying he's the consensus number 1, but nobody really knows. He can't really shoot. Nobody really knows how he's going to be.
You know, Ben Simmons can't really shoot. It's not working out poorly.
It's not working out great either.
Ben Simmons?
He's good, but I mean,
I would swap Ben Simmons in for KP in a heartbeat. How's that not working out? He's really good.
I'm just saying.
And Philly looks like a really good team.
Well, they have Embiid and Butler, and they're still the 4 seed.
Okay. Here's an article from CBS Sports. 5 reasons why Duke star is a unique NBA prospect. Number 1, his competitive spirit is unmatched. That's the dumbest first reason you can give.
Well, I will say, from what I've seen, it looks like he is making a huge effort on defense, which is not what I hear about a lot of the other top 10 guys.
I mean, they should say his work ethic is unmatched. Look, Kobe Bryant worked out insanely hard. That's what you want. His competitive spirit. Okay. Number 2, he's nearly 300 pounds. Again, not the reason you want to draft a guy.
Yeah, Eddie Curry was 300 pounds. That's not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, these are weird reasons, but I understand he's freakishly athletic.
Okay.
Totally cool with that.
Yep, that's a good one.
There are other guys that are freakishly athletic who, Aren't most players in the NBA freakishly athletic?
No.
I mean, no players in the Knicks, but
I mean, Dirk isn't freakishly athletic.
Zach LaVine is freakishly athletic.
Yeah, I don't want Zach LaVine on the team.
His efficiency is off the charts. He has taken 39 shots this season. He's made 32, probably because he dunks a lot. And number 5 on the list. By the way, I would love to get Zion. I just want to learn more about him. Zion is polished as a prospect, but he's still scratching the surface.
Okay.
These are the least in-depth five reasons possible. I just can't get myself. I don't want to get worked up about Zion because it's a good chance the Knicks might not get him.
Right.
So there was a chance. I saw this online. Someone tweeted it. I forget who tweeted this. Actually, I think it was the 538 guy. You know 538.com?
Mm-hmm.
Nate Silver.
Mm-hmm.
That he was at the game. Someone in his section was cheering, or trying to get a cheer go for Zion. Let's lose for him. Zion. Let's get Zion.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Facebook?
Yeah. Actually, we have Twitter also, but I'll do Facebook. Facebook don't have many Facebook questions, so bring it up. Let's see which comes up first. Waiting. Okay. Knicks found hidden gems in Vonleh, Moutier, Burke, Mario. Will the front office capitalize and get something out of them?
Seems like no.
I don't know. I mean, hidden gems. Are they hidden gems yet?
Does it count as gems if we only want them as like either backups or not at all?
I don't know if another team's going to give you a lot for. I mean, Vonleh or I don't know if any team's going to give you a lot for those guys when we barely. We don't think a lot of them right now.
Yeah.
That was from Ball Shall Not Lie. This is from T. Sully. Are we the ugliest team in the NBA?
No, that's probably Cleveland.
Yeah. David Crockett writes, why can't we have nice things?
I'm still going with my theory that MSG was built on an Indian burial ground.
You know, I was talking to my uncle. My uncle's obviously older, and so he remembers 1969. 1969 to 1970, basically, you had the Mets won the World Series, the Jets won the Super Bowl, and the Knicks won the title. Can you imagine New York that year?
That's insane. There was definitely something in the air that year.
Oh my God. Jorge writes, is the team highlight for the whole season the preseason?
No, the game 1 of the season when they beat the Hawks by 17?
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Summer League was the highlight. Yeah, that one. By the way, every New York team has done this year. The Mets were 12-1 or 11-1, a record start for the franchise, and then had a horrible season. The Jets, who had a terrible season, their first game of the year, they blew out the Detroit Lions, and the Knicks blew out the Hawks before having a terrible year.
We actually joked that after game 1 that it was going to be the highlight of the season,
and it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex writes, is Luke Cornett an NBA caliber player, and should he be back on the Knicks next season? I guess the first question, is he an NBA caliber player?
I don't know.
Really?
Like I said, I think this might just be a super fluky couple weeks.
Well, do you think his three-point shooting is fluky?
No, I think he can shoot.
So he probably can shoot somewhere in the range of between 35 and 40% a game in three-point shooting. That's an NBA skill.
Mm-hmm.
He's 7 foot. He's never going to be an amazing center for you, but like he can block a shot. He's not like athletic, but like you don't think he's a solid backup?
I'm really not sure yet.
I feel like most NBA teams could use him. Like even Golden State could use him.
Well, Golden State has like their bench is just trash this year.
Houston could use him.
Yeah.
Lots of teams that don't have a bench can use him. I'm not saying like the Raptors could use him. I'm just saying like most teams that like aren't that deep can probably use him.
I don't know. I'm still on the fence about him.
Miguel writes,
I'm
quick
trying
follow.
not to have him be one of those guys that like I completely overrate just because he's performing well in the Knicks.
Yeah, I know. Might as well. What else we got? Like, why look at a bigger sample size? Let's just pretend like this one game is addictive for his entire career. Miguel writes, quick follow up Zion. Guess we already did that. I mean, he's playing really well. I just hope the Knicks are in a position where they can just get one of these best players.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if they lost like 2 more games and instead of getting Ntilikina, no offense to Ntilikina fans, if they could have gotten
De'Aaron
Fox.
Yeah.
Holy crap. That's the guy the Knicks wanted.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
I mean, obviously they could have gotten Donovan Mitchell too, I guess, but whatever.
I'd rather Fox.
If they'd won 2 more games, they would have gotten Donovan Mitchell. So, and Miguel also wrote why for we said we're recording a show tonight, this is true. Why are we bothering? Jeffrey writes, this is from Facebook. We always knew Cornette was considered KP light since their games were similar, just not their skill set. The floor is spaced so much better with Cornette out there instead of Kanter. It's a style of play we'll probably end up running next year when KP comes back. Why do you think it took Fizdale so long to put him in the rotation and let the young guys get used to playing this way?
I don't think anybody thought Kanter was going to be able to play at this level.
Cornette,
sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the people didn't think his defense was going to be able to hold up at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's still questionable, obviously.
It's not great, but it's. I would argue it's better than Kanter's.
I love where we're at the point in the season where we're like debating whether a guy's a fringe player or a little bit better than a fringe player.
It's so sad.
Knox. Let's just go back to Knox for a second. Where do you think he forget where he is as far as his draft class? What kind of potential? Do we think that he could be an all-star? Not this year, obviously.
Yeah, I think if he picks up his defense slightly, does a normal trajectory as far as improvement goes, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, how encouraged should we be by his play lately?
I think we've downplayed how excited we should be over him.
Why are we not as excited? Why aren't we losing our mind over Knox? Because Knox is putting up a ton of points. He's having the rookie year we would have hoped he would have had right now.
I have no idea why we're not more excited. It's probably the fact that they're 23 games below 500.
It's probably the fact that they just don't it doesn't seem like they'll ever win a game.
Yeah, but yeah, we haven't talked about how great he's been enough. He's been really, really good.
I mean, he was rookie. We did mention that he was rookie of the month last show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty exciting how well he's playing. The only thing you wonder is he a guy putting up points on a bad team, or is he a good player?
He looks like a good player.
I think so too. I like him driving to the rim. I mean, his passing has to get better on offense, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's also sometimes he doesn't get assists because the other guys just miss shots. But he doesn't pass a lot. There was one play in the game where I think he passed to Dotson, and I was like, oh, he's going to get his first assist. And then Dotson missed the shot. Carlos writes, if the Knicks could trade a potential 3rd pick or lower on the first round, Timmy Hardaway Jr., and maybe some other draft pick for Bradley Beal and acquire Tobias Harris during the next summer, would you like to see Ntilikina, Beal, Harris, Knox, Porzingis pairing on the same team? I think that it would be an awesome team. Porzingis would be our first option, Beal a legit second option, and Harris is an awesome third scoring option. It's worth remembering that Harris and Beal are young players too. I mean, like Porzingis, Knox, and Frank. So I conclude that this lineup would have a similar mentality. Meanwhile, on this lineup, Frank could be what he is, and Knox could be free to score. What do you guys think about this lineup? A hug from Brazil. Love the podcast.
I would actually love that team.
Yeah, I mean that's the team. As I'm reading the question, I just kept thinking, I'm like, that's a solid team.
I would say that's like a top 3 team in the East. That sounds.
I don't know if it's top 3 team, but it's definitely a playoff team.
I mean, that's like a 3 all-star starting lineup.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a pretty solid like.
I like it.
Beal is really good. Would you be willing to trade the first round pick this year to get Beal? And I guess here it says you get dump Timmy Hardaway's contract for him also.
Interesting.
Bradley Beal for the first pick. That's a pretty interesting deal. He has a huge contract though.
He does.
I don't know if you can financially make this work. Well, I guess he takes Timmy Hardaway's money. Could you? And Tobias Harris is probably not getting a max deal, so you could probably fit them next to each other in the contract and get KP. It would look like a very interesting team. It would be a lot more fun to watch that team than the current team.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in that team.
I like that team. Good call, Carlos. Luis writes, DeMarcus Cousins comes back strong. DeMarcus Cousins comes back strong. Would you offer him a contract to play next to KP? So we're assuming that he comes back fully healthy and looks really good.
Right. Yeah,
Probably would not cost a max deal, I feel like.
Yeah, why not?
That'd be interesting. I wonder how good people said that if his injury he had was pretty devastating. I wonder how good he's going to look.
Well, apparently he's coming back next week, so we'll find out.
Ralph writes, don't you just love the Dick Van Dyke Show?
Thank you, Ralph.
You ever watch that show, Jay?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's from the 60s.
Yeah, no, I know the show. I mean, I never really watched it because it was on such a long time ago. It wasn't one of those shows that like I Love Lucy where there were tons of reruns while we were kids.
Yeah.
Tristan writes, last question. Is there any chance the Cavs don't win the number one pick after losing LeBron again?
I know. I'm going to be so mad if they get the number one pick again.
Should we boycott the NBA if they do that? If they get the number one pick in, it's not chance. It's like the odds on this are insane.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 years you win the draft lottery, and then you win again when LeBron leaves.
Yeah, no, that's beyond it's almost statistically impossible.
It is just like the 3 out of 4 were absurd as it is, completely absurd.
Yeah.
It's also this situation. Cleveland wouldn't have any better, even if they because of the odds have flattened. The top 3 teams have the same exact odds.
Right. Yeah, no, it would be, like I said, almost statistically impossible for that to happen.
Man, I'd be so goddamn angry.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. So next year, the Knicks have Zion, KP, Knox, and a free agent. It could be a much better show.
Yeah, definitely be a little bit less bitter of a show.
Oh, man. What are we going to do the rest of the season? What are we going to talk about, Jay?
Should we just break until
we can analyze the one prospect that anyone would want. And Barrett's supposed to be good. We can spend the entire 4 months analyzing Zion and Barrett. Pray we have a top 2 picks. We can get one of those guys. Talk about Knox. Argue whether Ntilikina is garbage or maybe he'll eventually get good.
Also, what are we going to do in the offseason when we don't get like a top 3 pick?
Oh, don't even go there.
Hey, let's analyze John Morant for the next 4 months.
I will. Maybe he'll be really good. Who knows? Jokic went 41st and is one of the best players in the game right now. So
true.
Yeah. So I don't know. And Ntilikina, he looked okay today. Hopefully, he gets better on defense, and that will be a huge deal. What did we learn today, Jay? Anything around the NBA you want to mention?
No, I still hate Harden.
He's playing unbelievable.
Yeah.
They had on the Sports Illustrated podcast, the Off the Wall. What is that? Off the Wall? What's it called?
Open Floor.
Open Floor. Not even close. They were talking about who's the best scorer in the NBA today, and one of the guys argued that Harden is the best scorer in the NBA right now. Would you disagree?
No, he might be the best scorer. I just hate the way he scores.
Yeah,
I think flailing and trying to draw fouls is
whether you like his style. I'm just saying he's like if you needed buckets that night, who would you go to?
Yeah,
would you go to him over Durant?
Probably.
He's been unbelievable lately.
It's close.
Yeah,
he figured out how to game the system. So if the refs are going to call it, why would he stop?
Okay, what did we learn today, Jay?
We learned that Frank did something today, and so everyone's super, super excited.
Are people getting worked up about him again?
I saw on Twitter people were like, "Oh, did you see that block and that steal?" So he's coming along.
Where do you think he like? What's your thought on him right now? Like, where is he in 3 years? I don't mean what team he's on. I'm going to assume he'll be on the Knicks. So what do you think? Where is he career? Like,
I think he's probably a fringe player.
Like, is he good enough? You think he'll be good enough to be your solid backup point guard?
Right now, I don't think so. I hope I'm wrong. It's not looking good right now, is it?
No, I mean, like, this is first. He looked decent today. Can he run an NBA offense? It's very questionable. He looked better when it was Moutier was out there next to him, really.
Yeah.
But is he good enough to score another position, or is he? And sometimes he drives to the basket. He looks good. But you also wonder if he ever started looking good for like consistently, the NBA would teams would really like game plan for him, and you feel like that might just crush any hope we had.
On that note, thanks for listening. We are NY Knicks Podcast at gmail.com. The New York Knicks Podcast.com is our website. You find us NY Knicks Podcast on Patreon, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And we are on Spotify. NY Knicks Podcast on Spotify.
If there's any service that we're not on that you'd like us to be on or you think is a good idea, please let us know.
Yes. On that note, we will be back next Sunday for some God knows reason. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good.